Donald Trump is already laying the groundwork to manipulate the economy. And if you've been paying attention to his latest social media outbursts about tariffs, you hopefully will see them for what they are. Now, we're going to look in detail at Trump's latest tariff proposal involving Mexico and Canada in a moment. But before even doing that, I do think it's important to understand the context and what Trump is trying to do. Donald Trump is intentionally trying to hurt the economy now so he can look like a savior later. And I want to explain to you how this works because it's really classic Trump and it's very dangerous and it doesn't take into consideration what's going on for people in Iowa. It's simply what does Trump think is good for him? And the strategy really is overly simple. If Trump can tank the economy now, before Joe Biden leaves office, Biden gets stuck with the blame. It hurts Biden's economic record, and it also gives Donald Trump more headroom to, quote, fix it when he comes into office. Most people aren't poring over the details of economic policy. They're looking at what's happening right now in the moment. If markets crash, if unemployment ticks up, if prices surge, voters will say, Biden was still president at that time. I mean, it's November going into December. Biden is the president. Trump knows this, and Trump's goal is to inflict as much damage as possible between now and January 20th so that Biden's economic numbers are as bad as they can possibly be when Biden peacefully relinquishes the Oval Office to Trump. But this isn't only about making Biden look bad, because by hurting the economy now, Trump lowers the baseline for his own presidency. When he takes office, any recovery, no matter how small, will make it look like Trump has turned the ship around. So think of it. Right now, the Dow is around 44,500, roughly, but plus or minus a few hundred points. If Trump takes over with the Dow at 44,500, that's now his baseline for growth. If Trump takes over and the Dow is down at 42,000, this gives Trump an additional 2,500 points of breathing room that he can take credit for if the stock market eventually goes back up. So imagine inheriting an economy that's been deliberately destabilized and sabotaged. So then growth that would otherwise seem mediocre all of a sudden looks great when you're starting from the rubble rather than from where we are right now. Trump would get to ride the wave of improvement while pretending that the chaos he caused was actually the fault of Joe Biden. And we've seen this before. Back during his first term, Trump repeatedly hyped these small gains in the stock market as evidence of his brilliance, even though they were often just part of the broader economic trends. And now Trump is trying to set himself up to repeat the trick, only this time he's intentionally doing the sabotage. It's economic arson disguised as just being tough on trade. And it isn't without consequence, because these threats of tariffs that we're going to look at in a moment, the other destabilizing moves, these aren't going to hurt Trump's billionaire buddies. This isn't going to hurt the corporations that bankroll Trump's campaign. This is all going to hurt average working people, middle-class families who are going to feel the squeeze of paying a little bit more or of lost jobs or reduced economic stability. Businesses that rely on steadiness in the markets will struggle. Consumers will spend less because they have less, and Trump doesn't care about any of it. What he wants is hurt Biden's economic record as much as he can. And what makes this even more insidious, is the word I'd use, is that Trump knows he can count on a friendly right-wing media machine to help him sell the story. When the economy hopefully inevitably improves from the artificially low baseline Trump is trying to generate, Fox News and others are going to trumpet Trump's economic genius. The same outlets that will ignore or downplay the current damage Trump is doing by talking about these wild tariffs are going to be the loudest cheerleaders if and when the supposed comeback takes place. So I'm going to analyze the new tariff proposal because it's important to understand it. But it's also just as important to know that there is a reason Trump is announcing these whacked out tariffs now, and it's in order to try to hurt Joe Biden. Now, that all being said, it's not really a disclaimer, but that context now provided, let's talk about Donald Trump's latest proposal. Men in the audience, this is for you. One of our new sponsors is Integrated Men, an online support community dedicated to helping men reclaim their power, break free from outdated masculinity norms, and find purpose. Integrated Men hosts weekly meetings that guide men in overcoming shame and self-limiting beliefs. If you feel lost, stuck, or like you're just trying to please others at the expense of your own happiness, this community can help you break free. It's not about pretending everything's easy. It's about embracing the chaos, facing fears, learning how to live with real integrity. They help men confidently into their purpose, to stop seeking validation from others, start leading your own life. The community dives into everything from setting boundaries, developing emotional resilience, understanding the 4 archetypes of mature masculinity. It's deep, it's practical, and most importantly, it's effective. If you're ready to step up, move past your old habits, live a life driven by purpose, not fear, I highly recommend checking out Integrated Men. Go to integratedmen.net/Pacman to learn more and check out my interview with Adil, and check out also the quiz that is a short assessment for taking that first step. The link is in the description.